everybody, and welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Lemax Black Cat Countdown. Let's get into it. Okay, so the Black Cat Countdown. This is a really cool little accessory for those of you that are into the countdowns. I know there's been different ones along the way, but this is the one from 22, so let's get right into the facts here. Of course, it was released in 2022, and the SKU number off the top is 23585. Now for some dimensions. We have 3.86 inches high, 5.12 inches wide, and 2.68 inches in depth. Product type: table pieces, and it is made of resin. Now let's talk price. When it came out, it was $26.99, at least here at my local Michael's, but with coupons and everything else, there's been tremendous drops on it, and if you were able to get it at the end of the season, you even saw a bigger and bigger jump. I saw some discounts as high as 60% in store. As far as power, there is nothing to power here, so there is no battery packs, adapters, anything of that nature. There is no lights and no soundtracks. This is going to be a static piece with a little bit of an interactive part, which we're going to talk about right now. So, upon opening the box, there is going to be a bunch of numbers in the basket. It is up to you to change the numbers and consistent with how many days are left between now and Halloween. The numbers are double-sided, so you're going to be kind of flipping and flopping to get everything right, but there are a couple little hooks. They're very simple to get on, but I want to note though, shout out to Lemax, because the hooks are actually really solid. Like, they look like they could take a little hitting and be okay. So shout out to Lemax on that, but very simple to do. Okay, so starting from the top and working our way down here, you have the sign itself, Days Till Halloween. Look, the sign, there's not a lot of color on this piece, but what I did want to point out about the sign is that there's a lot of trim detail. I don't know why, but in the sign itself, around the edge there, the trim, like the elegance of that trim is really nice, and it would have been cool to see it have a little color to make it stick out even more than what feels to be just kind of like a printed, quote-unquote printed piece, if you will. Again, it's actually a mold, I believe, but you know what I'm saying. So, nice detail, but it's a little hard to see because it just kind of blends in. But still, it gets the job done. It's a table accessory and it's not going to break the bank, so we make concessions. Now, working our way more towards the middle is the numbers that we just talked about. They are cute little cats. It's a cat-themed, piece, right? So there's a lot of black cats everywhere. A couple other details that we'll cover here in a minute, but the concept of this is cats, black cats, and, a witch. So, just keep that in mind. Now to the witch herself. Kind of cool. The glasses kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop. She's holding a star for a wand, but she does have color, so I like that. It's a little bit of contrast because the rest of the piece is kind of plain, but nonetheless, the witch does add a little bit of flair to the piece. As far as your scaling, it's definitely doesn't feel too much in the stratosphere. It kind of feels a little all over the place to me on this one. I think because I wish the sign was taller. It feels like it should have been taller to me. But again, for what this represents is more why you'd be buying this. This is a countdown to Halloween, something fun that you can do, another way to interact with your village. So if you're coming from that perspective, it's actually good size just overall, and the cute little cat things are nice, and from that perspective, it's fun to have. But, from a review standpoint, I try to look at specs as well as, how this would display and things like that. So I want to note that the scaling is definitely all over the place. Working our way down more towards the bottom now, there is definitely some more detail here. The basket is absolutely beautiful. It's probably the nicest thing on this unit. Don't know why, but it looks really realistic, and there's like just perfect what appears to be quote-unquote woven basket, but it's not. But, it looks that way, and when you touch it, it really feels that way. It's kind of a weird thing. It's definitely a mold, of course, but they did a really clean job on that, and it does hold all the numbers really beautifully. So they did a really good job on that basket. Of course, continuing our way, there is cats everywhere on this thing. There is a couple pumpkins that I wish lit up, but they don't, but they're still cool. And then, of course, the ground itself is that typical kind of green ground we would see with, a Spooky Town piece. Other than that, there's really not too much to this piece. Again, this is for the person that just wants to add something that is a little interactive. You kind of have to keep up with it in the sense if you wanted to quote unquote be on time, but it's a fun thing to do. And, if you have children as well, it's a way for them to interact, and it's not a really expensive piece or anything like that. And like I said, those hooks feel really sturdy. So I think, getting them on and off could be kind of fun. And yeah, it doesn't light up. It doesn't have any soundtracks. It's definitely not a must-have piece. But for just rounding it out, it's kind of fun to have around. With that said, guys, it's definitely not my most favorite piece in the world, but it is something that came out this year that I wanted to review. I know the countdown thing is a hit or a miss with a lot of people out there, and personally, I have quite a few of them. I do enjoy them myself. Thank you guys, as always, for continuing to support my channel. I have so much more for you guys. It's in the pipeline. It's coming every Friday. Check back. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And as always, please, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.